I am unpredictable.
Galata Plus recently reviewed Ramcharan's Gamechanger, and while I respect their insights, I have few disagreements on certain points. I want to talk about Gamechanger Galata Plus review. I respect their opinions, but I have a few disagreements on certain points. Let's break down them. The first point is Gamechanger too predictable? Galata Plus mentioned that the film is too predictable in every scene. But let's think about this. What do we really mean by predictable? Any film, it just follows a certain probability. We feel a scene is predictable, it's not because it's bad, but because of our minds are trained to expect certain points. Predictability is not the main issue. It's about how well the film makes us feel emotions and how convincingly it presents the story. It's not about predictability and unpredictability. Another point they mentioned that was Kiara Advani was just a dancing doll and didn't add much to the film. Now, I disagree with this statement. First of all, Kiara plays a role that supports the narrative and her performance fits within the scope of the film. The real issue here is not her acting or presence. It's how her character is positioned within the screenplay. I think this criticism actually stems from how her character is written and where the film places her in the overall story. If the screenplay had given her more depth and involvement in the key conflicts, maybe this perception won't exist. And also, I would say I am neutral on this point. I don't entirely disagree with the Galata Plus here, but I also don't think it's fair to call her just a dancing doll without looking at the bigger picture. And another point they made was that certain scenes and characters in the film felt childish. While I understood this perspective, I think childish might not be the right word. Instead of that, these moments could be described as crazy, exaggerated, or over the top fun. In fiction, when we step away from strict logic or realism, we have to embrace the craziness and larger than life elements of the cinema. The real question is whether these scenes feel convincing and entertaining for the average viewer rather than just dismissing them as childish. And the fourth point is flash cut editing, generic or effective. Finally, they criticized the flash cut editing in the film's introduction, calling it generic and filmy. They also said that the shots used were not important, but I disagree. The purpose of these flash cuts is to build emotions, not necessarily to add story depth. Sometimes a director uses flash cuts to create a fancy screenplay style, and that doesn't mean to get you hype for the flashback plot. It's a stylistic choice, and in this case it works for the film's tone. And my final thoughts on this is, yes, Gamechanger has its flaws, but I think some of these criticisms need a different perspective, and the film is for how engaging and convincing for its audience. That's it for today. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.